Good morning, track fans. Wanted to put out a little recap and preview for the NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships. So yesterday was the first day. It was an exciting one, and today we got round two. So first off, I'm going to recap a little bit of what I saw yesterday. And just to give you guys an idea, I'm really mainly focused on the long distance and mid-distance events in particular. I watched some of the sprints as well, but I haven't been as focused on it. So just take that. The main event that I was focused on yesterday was definitely the 5,000 for both the boys and the girls. And it really, really was an exciting thriller for both matchups. So let's start with the girls. Jane Hedegren, she finally got her time. I feel like there was a lot of talk and speculation about whether or not she would be able to take down Doris Lemingoli, and I know Doris did beat her in the cross-country championships, and all the respect to Doris. By all means, she is a fantastic runner. I think she's a junior in college right now. She's had a ton of success. She comes from Kenya. Brilliant runner. I did put out my take that I thought that this was going to be Jane's day, and I could not have been closer to the truth there. Nobody touched the front of the race except for Jane. Jane went out from the start. She never looked back. Doris did stick close to her for a good majority of the race, but she never got into the front, and as the closing laps started to circulate, Jane actually continued to pick up the pace. She started going more like closer to 70-second laps or even a little bit quicker towards the end. And she ended up finishing that race in 15 minutes even, which is fairly quick. It's only about 15 seconds off of her PR. And I say that because they actually started off the race fairly slow, but Jane just continued to get faster and she just looked so smooth. I think that what Jane did yesterday was honestly a precursor to what we are going to see. Jane is a freshman at BYU. And again, nothing against Doris at all, but I did hear a lot of talk online about how people thought that Jane had lost all these different races to Doris. They really had only raced, I think, 2 different times. I believe maybe 1 or 2 other times. The ones that I recall is that Doris beat her in the NCAA championships for the cross country. Jane got second place. She was not able to hang on to that pace, but that was her first NCAA championship event in college. We have to remember, Jane set virtually every single record that is even possible for a distance runner in high school. And then she gets to college, and yes, she did lose her first matchup. But Jane is here, and she's not going anywhere. I believe that she's going to continue her dominance, and what we saw was a precursor to what we're going to see tonight in the 3,000. So I do believe that Jane is going to win the 3,000 tonight, and I honestly don't even think it's going to be close. I believe that Jane is going to take this out from the start again, and I think this 3,000 actually plays even more into Jane's strength comparatively to the 5,000. So hats off to Doris. She's a fantastic runner, but this was Jane's day, and she is here to stay. Let's move on to the boys matchup. So the big race that I was into, again, was the 5,000, and Marco Langon had been hyping up this race for months, and I was super excited for him. Unfortunately, he did come up short to Hebtom Samuel. This was Hebtom's day. Nobody was touching Hebtom Samuel. In the last number of laps, Hebtom just continued to increase the pace, and Marco did make a very strong move to try to get up front in the last couple laps, but it was too little too short, and it was Hebtom's day. Nobody was going to catch him. I do believe that Marco is still going to win the 3,000 meter, and hear me out on this. I understand that a lot of people might think that Hebtom is going to win the 3,000 as well, but Marco is seated better in the 3,000. I believe that he's a stronger runner in that slightly shorter distance. I think he's going to run a little bit smarter. Even in the interview, Marco had a very good, humble interview, and he pretty much said that he didn't put himself in good enough position. I do believe that he will put himself into a better position for the 3,000. I think the biggest threat against Marco Langon is not actually Hebtom Samuel. I believe it's actually Colin Salmon. Colin put in the very interesting decision that we all saw for him to actually drop out of the 800 and the mile. I was a little bit shook by that decision. He's the 800-meter collegiate record with a time of 1:44 and some change. I don't remember the exact number from this recent Milrose game where he won in a phenomenal time. So, of course, we all would have thought that he probably would race the 800. Well, he scratched that. And it appears that he probably did that. I don't know. I'm speculating here. But BYU's men's team was able to pull off the win in a thriller yesterday for the distance medley. And Colin Solomon was the anchor for the mile. And from what I saw, I believe that he actually closed with a 24-second 200, which was just a very, very fast time. And he looked very smooth, very controlled. So if anyone is going to be a threat against Marco Langon today, I don't necessarily think it's going to be Hebtom Samuel. I know that Hebtom definitely wants to be a double NCAA champion for this specific race, and Hebtom is already a 3-time NCAA champion now with the cross country, the 10,000 meters outdoors, and now the 5,000 meters indoors. But I believe that Colin Solomon, with his incredible 800-meter speed, is going to be the threat against Marco Langon. I'm still making the bold take that I think this is going to be Marco's day and that Marco is finally going to win an NCAA title. I would love to hear y'all's perspective on this. Am I messed up on this? What do y'all think? Have you guys been able to catch any of the footage of the race? I'm not going to be able to catch as much of it live today. Unfortunately, I work full-time as an Amazon driver, and it's going to be really busy. So I'll have to get caught up on more of the recaps on some of them, and I'll probably be able to take a lunch break and hopefully actually catch the 3,000-meter live. So stay tuned for more updates about that. And if you made it this far in the video, I would love if you hit the like and the subscribe button. I'm super passionate about track and field. I'm sure if you're still watching this video, you're also super passionate about it. It helps the channel grow so that we can put more exposure onto this amazing and beautiful sport of track and field. I hope you all have an amazing day and enjoy watching the finals.